Hey, this is Notser, and we're checking out the Tier 7 French battleship, Lyon. This is one of the French battleships that were introduced to the community contributors, and it's one of the ships that a good amount of you wanted to see. The other being the Tier 8. The reason I'm not sharing a Tier 8 game, I couldn't get a really great game in it. But I got a great game in the Lyon, and I got a great game in the Tier 9. So what's the identity of this ship? It's got 4 gun turrets with 4 guns at 340 millimeters, which seems incredibly small for Tier 7. And I would agree, but it's 16 of those guns. And I think that more than makes up for the lack of gun caliber at this tier. For the build, super safe. We went with preventative maintenance, adrenaline rush, expert marksman, basic firing training, superintendent, advanced firing training, and concealment. This is basically a carbon copy of what I would run on my Americans, and it works out very well. The Lyon is not the most secondary-esque of the French, but there are secondary battleships for the French. Tier 9, Tier 10, it can get almost as far as the Germans, and that brings up another part of the ship. It feels like a German-American hybrid. I guess the French are just the love child of Germany and America. And hey, I'll be your love child if I could take out a target that easily, right? 16 guns. It doesn't matter that it's 340. It doesn't matter that the guns are not as accurate as the Americans per shot. You got 16 shells. A couple of them are going to hit near the target, and you're going to do a lot of damage, especially to cruisers. Hopefully this game expresses just how fun this ship is to play. It doesn't have speed boost. Tiers 8, 9, and 10 are the first and only French that get the special French speed boost. It doesn't have an aircraft. What you see is what you're going to get. And what you're going to get is hopefully something that is very attractive in its base format, because there is no consumables that you can equip to it. You just got to rely on the guns, which have a 30-second reload, roughly, which is fine. I believe the Tier 4 Imperata Nikolai Pierre, that particular ship does it have 16 guns too? Or does it have 12? I think it has 12, and it has a reload of 35 seconds. So 16 340 millimeter at a reload of 30 seconds. I'm going to confirm with the shot. Yeah, 30 seconds. That's pretty damn good. Every cruiser should be afraid of you. Literally every single one. And a lot of battleships. So we had 28,000, 29,000, and we did 8K with that shot on that turbines. Not bad. You're not going to find a lot of battleship citadels with these guns, but who cares? When you get 10,000 per salvo, and hopefully you say 10,000 and you're going to get 1,000 on this shot, man. You don't need to jinx yourself. Oh, I didn't jinx myself, okay. 12,000. Yeah. The Lyon is very fun to play. Now, this enemy Bayern, for whatever reason, he went towards the center of the map, and I was like, I'm not having any of that. So I'm going to try and angle my ship a little bit, and I'm going to fire my guns. A trait that I have seen on a lot of the French is they've got a really heavily protected citadel. It basically can't be reached at close to medium range. It's so deep in the ship. Deep in the ship. So we do 5K. He's sort of angling halfway. He's got to deal with friendly torpedoes that do a ton of damage to him. But my guns are almost up. Friendlies are going to finish him off, though. I should look for another target. Maybe a cruiser. It worked out pretty well previously. Yeah, there's a York. There's a York over there. He's nice and squishy. You're never going to find a cruiser that can stop these guns. 16 guns is insane. And Tier 7, honestly, is a tier where a lot of battleships drop off. You know, they just don't feel very effective. But I don't feel that way with the French. I feel like this is something you want. And by the way, there is a Tier 9 equivalent aircraft in the sky, and we're shooting it down pretty effectively, quite honestly. I think this had something like 85 to 89 AA rating with everything buffed. That's pretty impressive at tier 7. Now that's the upgraded hull. The standard hull, it's like half of that rating. But I really like how powerful I feel in all phases. Is it the most devastating? Probably not. But it's just... it's fun. It's just fun. Enemy sets 2 fires. I'm going to use my damage control. I'm trying to line of sight the Algerie. I don't want to be set on fire. Thank you very much. How dare you fire on a fellow French? I'm going to use my front gun. And this is sort of the awkward part of the Lyon. Only one gun is facing forward. There's a number 2 gun. You sort of have to go perfectly broadside almost to use it. It is facing forward though, so it works similar to the Nelson or the Imperata, where you will eventually have access to it. So 2 front guns, 2 rear gun turrets. Hopefully this takes them out. No, not quite. I'm going to just rotate fully around and bring those last 2 guns to bear. The rotation of the guns, it could be better, it could be worse. It's not Japanese level of bad, but it certainly isn't the best turret traverse at this tier. Not at all. It's not Queen Elizabeth bad, but it's not as good as something like maybe the Scharnhorst. Yeah, the Scharnhorst. I feel like the Scharnhorst is good turret traverse, right? So we got an enemy Queen Elizabeth. Speaking of Queen Elizabeth, I'm pretty unhealthy. A lot of damage from multiple targets. I am far forward, but I want to get some kills. I wanted to see how well this ship really worked out. I was reading the comments and people were like, I want to see the 16 gun French battleship. Show me the Lyon. I'm like, okay, I can do that. I tried the tier 8 and it's like, yeah. I wasn't finding success. Maybe I'll find it later. But so far, oh yeah. We didn't get any, not a single citadel, but 14,000. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't care if I get a citadel if I'm doing that kind of damage per salvo. And I really enjoy the guns. They feel fine. We didn't get quite the accuracy. It looked like a couple of the guns were a little bit too high on the enemy ship. And by the way, look at the hecticness of this game. There's friendlies and enemies all over the map. There's an enemy Benson over by my base. Obviously, there's a Queen Elizabeth over here. There's a couple friendly ships all the way on the other side of the map. What the hell's going on, people? I was on this flank. I'm addressing enemy ships. I'm trying to do the best I can. And I look over and like, everyone's every which way. Again, really big salvo. I don't think... Did we use every gun? I think that number 2 gun, yeah. The number 2 gun definitely feels very American. Early, mid-tier American battleship. You basically have to be perfectly broadside to use it. And that is a disadvantage. However, you don't need to use it. You got 12 guns without it. It just guarantees that you're going to do a little bit more damage because more shells on the target. And I'm so close to killing this guy. I'm aware of the Benson. Friendly Fiji, during all this, is trying to chase down that Benson. I'm very, very, very afraid that he'll take a torpedo and die. And then it'll be really difficult for me. So I'm trying to finish this fight very quickly and move over to help my teammate. And I think that's more than enough, yes. Just schooled that British battleship. He had nothing on us. Couldn't do anything. Not a chance. I think we gained more health than he took away from us. And he was basically like at 80% life. That was a ton of damage we did to him in a short amount of time. We're already up to 124,000. Unfortunately, team's kind of losing it. Fiji's trying to chase this guy down. I told him I was going to come around and help him out. That's what I intend to do. An advantage to amount of guns is you don't really drop off in your damage output on destroyers. Destroyers really hate you. 12 guns sucks at tier 10. 16 really sucks at tier 7. I honestly, if you are a destroyer, I would treat this ship as a counter to you. Treat it like a cruiser. Don't show yourself willingly, because stuff like that's going to happen. And it's just too easy with 16 guns. Feels so good. So, now that we've assisted in defense, I'm going to try and move south. Unfortunately, it's 3 versus 5. I'm a little unhealthy. Fiji's a little unhealthy. And the Benson is spotted by the aircraft carrier. I can't contribute to him at all. And I don't think he's going to succeed in living. There's just too much ground to make up. And I don't have a tool, like a scout plane or a fighter, to enhance my range. What you see is what you're going to get. And that's okay, considering the gun systems. If I was fighting the Lyon, I would remain at range. I would try to avoid being detected as a destroyer. I would be hesitant to send aircraft towards it. I would try and pick on other targets first. Or I would go after the target once it sustained HE damage. I chose to rock the AA and secondary gun mount survivability mod. And the reason I did that is I sort of felt like if I could keep the AA protection up, I could operate more independently than a lot of ships. I enjoy that, as you probably know from watching all my content, and I just wanted to see how it worked out, because I don't have speed boost. The speed on the ship is fair to above average. I am using the signal flag to increase my speed, so this is not the normal top speed. I think the normal top speed is like 27 knots. With the upgraded engine. Ship looks pretty cool. I can't get over, the superstructure is so big. That's gonna attract a lot of attention. It's just so bulky. It takes up so much room on the front. And I think that's a way of discouraging a bow-on playstyle for the French, along with the number 2 gun, basically requiring you to show most of your broad. So, friendly Fiji, myself, I was like, listen, we're not going to win this game unless we try. We're just going to move forward and hope that the enemy makes a mistake. Because there's no incentive for them to push forward. So we just have to try and do something. So, Fiji fires. Fiji goes into a smoke. I recognize that. I want to make sure that I am spotting for my teammate. I know, shockingly, I want to help my teammate kill the enemy. Not enough people even care that they are contributing to their teammates' ability to fire from smoke. They're 100% about, am I mitigating the most damage possible? Maybe I'm not, but I'm keeping my teammate in the battle. And if we can kill this guy quickly, you know, get a good citadel or something. I didn't lead him quite as much as I needed to. I underestimate the speed of these guys, and I'm taking fire from every which way, which is great. And, oh, well, looky what we got here. And it be Farragut. Well, I change immediately, focusing to the destroyer, because he'll die in one salvo, quite frankly. And how often do they openly show themselves? So I'm just trying to get my guns on target. Again, only the front gun. I would have to widen my stance. Friendly does a fantastic job, though, of wiping that guy out. Now, he's out in the open, unfortunately. Enemy aircraft carriers trying to drop on me. This is going to hurt because these are tier 9s. I don't really have the focusing fire to take this on by myself. Unfortunately, the friendly is knocked out. Oh, this is going to hurt so much. Oh, I'm trying to avoid it. Just barely alive. And I use my heal. I try and save myself. I'm probably dead. But I don't regret that game. We absolutely did a great job for our team. Multiple targets wiped completely off the face of this map. And here comes, the broadside. It's okay. You know, it was a great game, no matter if we won or lost. I hope you enjoyed seeing this ship for the first time. We got 3 kills. 140,000. Remember, it's work in progress, so I don't earn achievements, so I might have earned more than what I ended up, seeing in the information. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.